What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's been a couple of weeks since I've been on, so just want to say, whoever gets on, check it out. Hey, I appreciate you coming back on, checking me out. It's been about 2 weeks since I missed the last 2 weeks because of some personal matters, and then with my business or whatever, I had something to do. I normally don't work on Mondays, but this past Monday, money calls, so I had to take care of that business. But just want to say, got a host of things to talk about. We could talk about a lot of different things, but it's a lot of football, WNBA playoffs. I know a lot of people hadn't watched a lot of the WNBA, but I done checked out a few of the games, and they have been fantastic to me, which I feel like that it has been better series to me in the WNBA than some NBA um, games or whatever. So, with that being said, we're going to jump right into things. Somebody already comments on Janet. Yep, you have. I know you have, on Janet. You just like sports. All right. So we're going to jump right into things, and we're going to talk about Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football, we have the Las Vegas Raiders, who are 3-0, versus the Los Angeles Chargers, who are 2-1. This game should be going on right now, but it's not. It's actually in a delay. I'm trying to figure out what the delay is for. I'm not sure if it's weather or what, but it's in a delay right now. I think it's thunderstorms and lightning and stuff, so definitely going to be a delay whenever it comes to that. So the Monday Night Football game, I feel like it's going to be a pretty good game because the Chargers are a really good team, and the Las Vegas Raiders, they've been playing real good football. I hate to really say that because, my nephew TC is a Raiders fan, and I would never hear the end of it if they continue to win and go 4-0 right now. So, but they're in LA, and I don't know. I think that the Chargers will win this game because the Chargers are a very underrated team. And I think Vegas has really, slipped through the cracks on a couple of wins or whatever. I'm not taking nothing from them. I just think that, the Chargers will win on their home turf, and, they will both of them end up being 3-1. Will it be a good game? Yes, I think it will. Unless Derek Carr balls out, which, I mean, he's been playing real good football. But the Chargers are a really, really, really underrated team whenever it comes to just about everything. The Chargers are very, very underrated. Defense been pretty good. All that good. The quarterback play been real good. All that good stuff. So right now, yeah, they have it's currently on a lightning delay. And so, we'll see what happens with that game. And we'll go back and revisit. That's if they're able to, go and play the game with the lightning and stuff, because you don't know what's going to happen with that. So, but right now I picked the Chargers to win that game over the Las Vegas Raiders. All right, and so we're going to move on. I was talking about the WNBA playoffs. The WNBA playoffs has been really, really good to me. I saw like the first couple of series were, basically sudden death. You win, you move on. You lose, you're gone. And I kind of like that strategy simply because, a lot of people will say, well, somebody can have a bad game and then boom, they could lose or something like that. But the thing that I agree with that part, but the thing I like the most about it is that everybody played with some sense of urgency. You had so many playing with a sense of urgency whenever it came to that, and I like that. These ladies, they're playing defense. They know it's a lot on the line, and that's like I watch NBA games and I see guys go through the motion. These ladies don't go through the motions because they know like it's one and done. Where we don't have time for any setbacks, and it's on both sides. We hadn't really had, until we got to, the best of five where we had some blowouts and stuff. But all the other games were really, really, really good. Like, I can go back and I can look at some of the games or whatever. I'm gonna go back and look at some of the scores and stuff. Um, you know, you had the Dream and the Sun. Oh no, that's not that one. That's not that one. I'm going to the playoffs. Okay, we had the Sky and the Wings and the Liberty and the Mercury. And the Mercury went by one. Now the Wings ended up losing to the Sky. That I think that kind of caught a couple of them off guard. That's one of the games I watched it. And Candace Parker, you can tell that she's not doing all the stuff that Candace Parker used to do because she's older, but you can tell her veteran leadership has really, resonated with the Chicago Sky. And the Mercury, they're just a phenomenal team with Brittany Griner and Diana Taurasi and Skylar Diggins-Smith. Man, Taurasi had set out some games because she had an ankle injury. She had a sprained ankle, and they were still able to prevail. And now she's back playing, and she looks like the best player in the league. Like, it's hard to stop Diana Taurasi. I watched them play the other night, and boy, was she really balled out. And the game wasn't even close against them and the Aces or whatever. But that's something I'm gonna talk about in a minute. Yeah, and Jen, I agree with you. Chris Paul brought 500 tickets for the Phoenix game, and I really liked it. That was a really really big deal. I really like that Chris Paul, standing behind what he believes in. And so, in the first series, we have the Sky and the Suns, and the Sky lead the Suns 2-1. And I tell you what, the Sky is not, like I said, it's not Candace Parker that's doing everything. It's it's the others. Like, they have other people who are really balling out. And it's just it's unfortunate for the Sun to really have to run up on these girls, and they playing really good. It's just that series, I hadn't had a chance to really sit down and watch that one because whenever it comes on, most of the time it's been a little bit earlier, and I'd be kind of still working or whatever. But to see this team play in the first rounds, like I said, Kalia Cooper, she balled out the other night that helped them take that 2-1 lead. If time goes on, if they continue to play like that, it's going to be a tough out for anybody. It's just going to really be a tough out. But I really think that if they make it to the next round, Candace Parker has to play Candace Parker way of basketball. Like, her leadership, they're going to need more from her whenever whenever that time comes. So, shout out to the Sky for, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, they were like a 5th or 6th seed. I have to go back and look at it, but they were a 5th or 6th seed. And, and like I said, when you get to the playoffs and stuff, seeds don't really matter. And these ladies are playing with a great sense of urgency. And so we're going to move on to the next one. Is the Mercury lead the Aces 2-1. Now, I watched game 1, and that was Taurasi's first game coming back. And you could tell that, she had to get back in the swing of things. She had a decent game, but it wasn't a great shooting game, and all that stuff. They ended up losing the game, and I just felt like if they could have made a couple of more plays, they could have won game 1. Aces take game 1. You come back the next 2 games, game 2 and game 2 and 3, and it's been all Mercury. From Brittany Griner to Diana Taurasi and Skylar Diggins, and I mean, it's just that's just a phenomenal trio that those 3 have, and then it's deeper than that. They have a really good team. Brianna Turner, she balled out in game 3. She had 23.17 rebounds. Like, that's not talked about. Like, we'll talk about a guy having a double like that, but 23.17 rebounds, that is tough because that's a major stat line to me. Turner was really balling, and I think with Brittany Griner, playing the way she's playing and being a force down low, and then you got Taurasi, who's just a bona fide leader. and she can score, do whatever. She can create for others, and then you have Skylar Diggins, who just plays well off the ball. She played. I was watching them in game one, and in one game where they end up winning. I think it was the second sudden death game they played, and Diana Taurasi didn't play. And I was saying to some of my friends, I felt like that, you could tell Skylar Diggins wasn't used to being the person to have to facilitate in this right here. I said she had Taurasi to be a whole lot better. They end up winning that game, but I just felt like with Taurasi, it makes her much better because she doesn't have to handle the ball nearly as much. It's a whole lot less pressure on her because Taurasi takes all the pressure off. But with that trio, I see them like, they just all three have to have bad games in order for them to lose right now, I believe. I just believe that right now, I think they're the team to beat, especially if Taurasi stays healthy and Brittany Griner's healthy, because with that inside-out combo, that's just tough. That's a real tough out. And they're defending. They're playing together. That's one thing that I like about them and just the WNBA altogether. Like, they really go out and they seriously play defenses. Like I said, it's a sense of urgency versus, oh, well, we lose a game. Who gives a crap? We'll come back and play. Like, no, they know it's best of 5. Before that, it was, sudden death. You win, you go home. Win, you can move on. Lose, you go home. So, it was a whole lot of sense of urgency, which I felt like it made games that much better. And we had some overtime games, had games go down to the wire. I just wasn't disappointed in any of these WNBA games. And so, if you get a chance, the next game comes on today's day is the 4th, if I'm not mistaken, and comes on Wednesday. That's when the next game come on Wednesday. So if you get a chance, check that out, because I guarantee you won't be disappointed whenever it's all said and done, because it's a great brand of basketball. And it's been a great brand. That's all I can say about it. Like, and then you have people like Chris Paul, who is really trying to promote it and help these ladies get the notoriety that they need. And I see a lot of posts about a lot of different people complaining about the women not getting paid as much as the men and this, that, and the third. But we got to support them. That's the thing. That's the way that you get them more revenues. You get them more revenues, and Jen, you on it. You just help me out. They play at 7-10. You're right, but that's the way we get them. More revenues, the more money they make. They can, jersey sales, and if we get people in the stands, they sell out arena after arena. A lot of people say it's not entertaining to watch women's basketball. That's because you're just not a fan of the sport. Because at the end of the day, women are more fundamentally sound than the men. I honestly like shooting. Like, we get caught up in all the dunks and all that good stuff, and that's why whenever this is my honest to God truth. The way I feel whenever it comes to the NBA, and Chris, I appreciate you. Whenever it comes to the NBA and everything, like, I love the NBA because, I grew up watching the NBA. But the reason why the NBA started moving more towards foreign players, yeah, they want to go international. But at the same time, we as Americans, we lacked a lot of shooting, a lot of fundamental stuff, because we were so busy trying to dunk and, all that good stuff. We wanted the oohs and the ahs, but not all the other stuff. And I think that has hurt our brand of basketball, because yes, we do have shooters and stuff now, but we don't have the great shooters, more than an abundance of great shooters. We have great shooters here, have streaky shooters there. And so they went to the foreign guys in the NBA because, they can stretch the floor. It's all about spacing. They can shoot the ball better than we can versus us being more athletic. And I feel like that hurts NBA basketball. Whereas WNBA basketball, you want to learn how to shoot, watch a woman shoot. Because she has to do everything the right way because she's not as athletic as us. And I'm not saying they're not athletic. They're just not as, they just haven't been genetically athletic as men. But one thing they can do, you watch them ladies can shoot. Form is beautiful. Like they have some of the prettiest shots that, you could ever see in basketball. And so I just feel like it's more fundamentally sound for me to watch. And that's just me, somebody who studies the game, loves the game for what it is. And I'm not all in. I like dunks, but I'd rather see shooting. Plain and simple. Like I would much rather see shooting than dunks because dunks to me are overrated. I'd rather shoot threes. I used to tell people, why you don't try to dunk? I get more points for shooting threes than I do dunking. Simple as that. That's the way I see it. And so, for us to, and I'm on a whole nother spiel now because this is one thing that's near and dear to me is that, because I'll sit around and I'll watch WNBA games in the middle of the day. And with all of us having streaming services and all that, you can watch them. Like, even if you're just catching a glance at it here and there, but, check it out. That helps out their revenue. So, we all want to talk about, the women, not being as equal to men, but that's the only way they get equal to them is if we decide to come on and do what we do for the men. Like we go out and support the men, but the women bring a great brand of basketball too. And, so I think that we definitely need to start checking them out a whole lot more because the more we support them, then after a while, these ladies will stop having to go overseas. They'll start making more money here, versus, having to go overseas to make $1 million where, finally they have went up to, $500,000 around here and all that good stuff. So, that's a plus. And so we're going to move right along. I went on a whole big old spiel, but like, that's just something that I really, enjoy talking about. Yeah, Harry, you say you think entertainment brings money, but dunks are more. I agree with you, but if you go and watch an NBA game, and I always come back to this, Harry, you watch these guys now who we say are more talented than the guys of the past. If you notice, the NBA is about to start changing rules and stuff because these guys don't play defense. So what's entertaining about a year-round all-star game? I want to see basketball. I want to see defense. Like, that's entertaining to me. I like to see somebody strap up and lock somebody down. That's interesting to me. If you just want to see offense, then, yeah, go watch the all-star game. But, more entertaining. But that's the reason why the NBA, and it is where it is right now. And as you can see it, everybody talk about how great the NBA is, but the NBA is really about to be on a decline. Remember, I've been saying this for a while. It's about to be on a decline because we're about to be lacking superstars. It's not a whole lot of superstars in the NBA. We make them superstars because, they got 1 million followers. That's what we try to make as a superstar. But I agree with you. Dunks are more entertaining. But if you watch the game for what it is, then you would appreciate it. I appreciate like good fundamental basketball versus just dunks and stuff. That's what I appreciate because when it's all said and done, if they play some defense, then all the dunks and stuff won't happen. It won't matter. So moving on, this is real quick. This happened today. Bubba Wallace wins Talladega. He's become just the second black driver to win a NASCAR Top Cup Series level. A lot of people making a big deal about it because it was rain, delay, and all that good stuff. He won off of that. Hey, that's a part of the sport. That's what happens. Shout out to Bubba Wallace because, everybody knows that NASCAR is basically a white-driven sport. And for him to be able to compete in that, him and, his team won Talladega, and that's one of the big races in NASCAR. If you keep up with NASCAR, you'll see it's not too many, black people or black drivers into NASCAR. So shout out to Bubba Wallace for winning Talladega and and showing up regardless of how it happened. If it happened in a rain delay and shortened, it happens all the time. So Bubba Wallace wins Talladega, and hopefully that's one of many for him to win, because this is not very known for us to win in racing. Like, he's one of the few black drivers that we have. He went through a crash to the front of the field 5 laps before the rain stopped or whatever, everything. So that's what happened. He won. So shout out to Bubba Wallace and the Jordan team that he's a part of right now. And that happened. I seen that come up a little while ago. All right, so we're gonna get into college football. Have a question for some of you. Are you still sold on Dabo? And when I say Dabo, I mean Dabo Swinney. And I'm talking about the head coach for the Clemson Tigers, who won, a couple of national championships a few years ago. So, Jen, I see that the NFL game just started. I just got an update, said it's get ready to start. But are you sold on Dabo? And I'll tell you right now, anybody knows I've been on Dabo Swinney for a while. At first, I thought he was going to turn out to be, this dominant coach, and it seems like he done lost his luster, whatever he lost. He done lost his swag and all that good stuff, because a lot of people make up excuses about a lot of things. And I'll say this: I'm not comparing him to Nick Saban. I'm not comparing anybody to Nick Saban. I'm just saying this, to make a point. In sports, if you are a good coach and you have good coaches around you, you're going to win. But at the same time, coaches are going to come and coaches are going to go. And it's who you bring in after such and such offensive coordinator leaves, or the special team coach leaves, or the defensive coordinator leaves and go, for better positions and all that good stuff. Now, Nick Saban has done a great job of, whenever somebody leaves, he replaces them and the beat still goes on. We just found out Clemson is out of the top 25 for the first time since 2014. And I've been saying it. I didn't feel like Clemson was a great team this year. I didn't feel like they were great last year. I felt like Dabo never had the guys ready to play in big games. I felt like he felt like, oh, well, we don't want a couple national championships. We ain't got to go out and prepare. And that's what it looked like to me. And to answer my own question, you still sold on Dabo? No, I haven't been sold on him for a while. Henry, you said he benefits from top players from a game conference. Yeah, and I agree with you on that, Henry. That's my next thing. I feel like he does a great job with recruiting right now, because he gets some of the top talent and all of that good stuff. But when the talent gets there now, he wins off talent. But like now, he's having to actually coach. And I watch him make decisions and all that good stuff. And honestly, I've been disappointed for like 2, almost 3 years now. And I've watched a decline, go on here and there. A lot of people don't think it has, but I've watched a decline, in his coaching ability. This year is really, really shown to me. It's like he's struggling. Like, he lost 2 games already this year. And I think he has some more to lose. Now, they won this past weekend, 19-13, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm just not a big Dabo Swinney fan. I think he's overrated right now whenever it comes to coaching. And as I said, when it comes to coaching, not recruiting, because he does a great job recruiting. But he doesn't, me personally, I don't think he do a good job of getting these young men ready to play in big games. Then ever since they lost their national championship game, we saw Trevor Lawrence look bad. He got outplayed by Joe Burrow. They lost to LSU, and it's been bad since then. Well, it was bad before then because I just didn't feel like they were prepared. And now is now even more evident now. Will he make a change? I'm not sure if he can right the ship. But I'm just not sold on Dabo Swinney as being one of the best coaches in football. I think, they won national championships based off of pure talent. And, that's how I feel. And now, so this year that he has decent talent. He doesn't have great talent. And it's really showing. He has talent that he has to coach. Where, he had Deshaun Watson's the world one time before. Deshaun Watson is just a different talent. And so, but am I sold on Dabo? No. I think he's done a tremendous job recruiting, but as far as coaching and putting X's and O's together, I don't think that he's done a great job. I watched some questionable decisions that he's made, and he made it look like, it was on officiating and all that good stuff. No, I felt like it was on him, and that's what it is. Like, I just can't. I don't see him righting the ship this year, and with the decline that they've had, I'm not sure if the recruiting will continue to happen simply because people see this. Like, don't think that people dummies and feel like, oh, well, they won national championships, but he's just a great coach. And I think they're seeing it now that, he's not as great as he was portrayed to be. And so we'll see. And I try not to stay on Dabo too much, but I'm just not sold on him. If he makes a change, I'll come in and say, well, Dabo proved me wrong. But so far he hasn't, because I've been on him every time that I've talked about Clemson. I've talked about Dabo Swinney and how, I feel like his incompetence as a coach has really affected, how Clemson approaches games and how good Clemson really can be. So we're going to move on from Dabo and we're going to get into the NFL. All right. Brady returns to Foxborough. Like, I watched that game from start to finish last night, and we had so much animosity going up to this game because we had so many stories about how Bill Belichick was basically the one that ran Tom Brady out of Foxborough and, all that good stuff. We're going to find out these two really sat down and talked, and, and Tom Brady kind of said, the rumors that we've been hearing is not how he feels. Him and Bill had a 20-year relationship and they get along well. But, hold on one second before I finish that. Henry said, I think they're better while they're down because when they come into the ACC, they will be dominating. Yeah, I agree with you on that, Henry. I agree with you on that. But Brady returned to Foxborough, and I had this conversation with my brother, and I told him, the Patriots lost. But in my eyes, a lot of questions were answered to me. And my brother tried to say after 20 years, Bill Belichick knew Tom Brady better than anybody else. And I simply told him if they really showed the recipe on how to beat Tom Brady and the Bucs. Because if old buddy makes the field goal last night, we wouldn't be saying, oh, Tom Brady comes out of Foxborough with a win. But a lot of questions asked, because it was always questions asked were, who was it? Was it Tom Brady or was it Bill Belichick? And last night it showed me that it was Bill Belichick. Because Belichick, he confused Tom Brady last night. He had that dude so rattled. The guy didn't throw a touchdown. He didn't throw an interception. He didn't throw a touchdown. And last night he broke the record last night on all-time passing, past Drew Brees, which, that's a great accomplishment. But for the most part, the guy looked shaken up. He looked confused. He looked rattled. He didn't look like himself. Yeah, TC, I agree with you. The Cowboys showed it as well, but Belichick is a more defensive mind than what the Cowboys have. And he showed, like, if you watched them last night, they did a whole lot of pre-snap stuff that confused Tom Brady. And then they switched it up after he snapped the ball. Tom Brady is more better at picking you apart whenever you show everything firsthand, and then boom, he comes in and he audibles, and they didn't give him a chance to audible and all that good stuff. They didn't. And at the end of the day, Belichick showed how anybody can beat them. Don't think that the Arizona Cardinals are not going to go and look at that film and see what Belichick did and how he disguised everything. Don't think that the Rams ain't going to do that, because the Rams already beat them. They just got to go out there and they can add a little wrinkle. And so, and a lot of people try to make it Belichick, Brady, who was better. Like, I think Bill Belichick was the mind behind Brady's ultimate success. He drafted the guy, he molded him to one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and he hid a lot of his deficiencies. Because if you watch that game, now trust and believe, if the Patriots had, everything that they had, if Bill Belichick could have all the players and stuff that he wanted, if the offense was a little bit better, Matt Jones wasn't as young. Me personally, I think they could have blew the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out. That's my opinion. We don't know if it'll happen, simply because the game is over with now, and all that stuff, that what ifs, won't happen, because it's not going to happen for some years. But I think Belichick confused this guy, and he had Tom Brady like rattled. And like, in all the years I watched the guy, I'm not a Tom Brady fan, but this is the first time that I ever seen him like that. Now, I've seen games where the defense really got after him and, had him, moving around and, getting to him quick and sacking him and just, knocking him down and all that good stuff. But I've never seen him confused. TC said this right here. TC said he molded the system to fit Brady's game. A lot of quick passes and slot receiver. That's why all of them got paid. Oh, I agree with you. I totally agree. I feel like the schemes were set up for him. I've always said this about Tom Brady. I think that he's one of the best game managing quarterbacks of all time. That's my opinion. Yes, with his stats, all the stats and stuff. Yeah, yes, because we're in a passing era now, so that's all that's going to happen. You pass. But if you watched that game last night, you can't. It's no way you can come out of it saying that, oh, the Patriots were the Patriots because of Tom Brady. No, the Patriots was the Patriots because of Bill Belichick, and he showed last night what type of coach he really was, because he had them, like, everybody said this was going to be a blowout. And who would have told me that Tom Brady would have went into this game and not threw a touchdown? Yeah, Gronk wasn't there, but he had all his other weapons. It was raining. No excuses. Brady done played in the rain before. All those guys played in the rain. It stopped for a little bit. So the same elements that, the Patriots played in, the Bucs played in, the Patriots played in it too. So I feel like Bill Belichick comes out looking a lot better than a lot of people have portrayed him to be, because everybody's been saying, because over the last couple of years, he hadn't had Brady. He had Cam Newton, who wasn't, great. Now he got Matt Jones. I think, I'm not a big Matt Jones fan, but I think that with the system that, Belichick puts in place, Matt Jones could be a real decent quarterback. Was it a great return to Foxborough for Brady? Yeah, to see people and to see his parents and stuff like that. But they got the win, and he'll say ultimately he got the win. That's all that matters. But at the end of the day, any competitor knows that, if I'm playing against an old coach and all that good stuff, I'm trying to go and destroy them. I'm trying to have the best game that I could possibly have. He didn't do that. End of story. He just didn't do it. And so he returned to Foxborough. They get the win. I guess that's all that matters. But in my opinion, Bill Belichick comes out, a better looking guy to me, which I never doubted it in the first place. All right, so we're gonna get to my quick talks real quick. And so, first quick talk is Andrew Wiggins. He gets the COVID vaccine. NBA has this, this thing where if you miss games due to not being vaccinated, it's one thing they're not doing. They're not forcing you to get vaccinated, but if you miss games for not being vaccinated because of some laws in some cities and some states are requiring you to get vaccinated. If you don't get vaccinated, you can't play. And so, if you miss games, you're going to lose your game check. And these guys, money talks. That's one thing I say. So Wiggins got his vaccine because he was one of the, like, if I'm not mistaken, the last player for the Warriors not to get vaccinated. On to the next. Embiid speaks on the Simmons situation, and I felt like Embiid, he was very professional about what he said. Said it was borderline embarrassing of what's going on, and disrespectful because everybody's coming out there with the same calls to try to win a championship, and he said a lot of big things like all the stuff that the Sixers have done has been to please Ben Simmons and to keep the ball in his hand, and for him not to show up, I think that's disrespect and slap in the face to all the other players. So shout out to Embiid for him coming and the way he spoke on it, because he wasn't disrespectful to Ben Simmons. A lot of people would say, "Oh, the marriage is over. They hold 1-2 punches over with." No, if Ben Simmons has the heart and the fortitude, he'll take what Embiid said and process it and be like, yeah, this is disrespectful. This guy, he ain't speaking bad about me. He's speaking bad about the situation. Then the situation is, hey, they have put things in place. They got rid of Jimmy Butler because you wanted the ball. They giving him the ball. So, that whole Simmons situation is crazy, but Embiid spoke on it, and I like what he said. To all the LeBron fans, I'm not about to give LeBron a hard time. I'm just going to talk something good about LeBron. LeBron made a comment the other day saying that, it's a lot of trainers got kids working on stuff that they'll never work on in a game. And that is one of the few things that I really, really, really agree with LeBron speaking out on some stuff whenever. I agree with some of the stuff he said. Sometimes I think he take it over the top because he feels like he had to speak on everything. But I agree with him because I've been saying the same thing. I used to work out kids, and I had a few of them to stop working out with me because I wasn't charging them anything. And I'm kind of old school with my workouts. I don't need a whole bunch of props. You can give me a couple trash cans. You can give me, a chair, and we can do everything with all that type of stuff. I don't think that you need all this other stuff. And it's a lot of training. They went to trainers and stuff where, the trainers had them doing things that they definitely weren't going to do in the game. And then these trainers are training kids, and this is the way I try to explain it to, one of my families, one of my kids. He get into training, he knocked down 10 threes in a row, getting the game, and can't hit nothing. And I said it's a difference between being in a training session where you're one-on-one. Anybody can teach you a workout. You can learn a workout, but do you have it here whenever the lights are bright and whenever you got people, shouting at you and booing you and telling you you're going to miss a shot, and you got a defender in front of you, and that shot means something. When you're working out, those shots don't mean a whole lot because you can miss and make and all that good stuff. It's not like that shot is going to win a ball game for you or put you up by 2 or put you up 3, or continue to build a lead or something like that. So, LeBron is right. And I agree with him. Like, trainers are robbing some of these kids of stuff, like, basically taking parents' money and making it seem like, oh, this kid is going to be great, but you're not teaching them, the game of basketball. You got them working on shit that they ain't going to use in no game. They won't use in a pickup game half of the time. I've seen some of these crazy behind workouts, and I'll be saying to myself, like, are you serious? Like, is it going to really be this way? So, and I respect him for, for saying that. Like, LeBron, he speaks out on a lot of things. This is one of the things that he really was, spot on about. And those are my quick talks for the day. And I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to go back to football. And I told y'all I'll talk about my Eagles all the time. And the Eagles don't look too good. And I will say this. Let's see what somebody said real quick. Yeah, TC, nobody wants to hear that, man. They don't want to hear that. They feel like if they taking these kids to trainings and stuff, man, that's gonna take them over the top when that's not gonna get them anywhere. So, but the Eagles don't look good, don't look too good. And I've told people this, and I've told Eagles fans this, and I said this after week 1. I came in with my Eagles gear on and all that good stuff, and I said, win, lose, or draw, it's fly, Eagles fly. And I told everybody I'm really not sold on what the Eagles are doing. I'm not sold on Jalen Hurts. I watched the guy lose his job to Tua when he was at Alabama. I watched the guy come to OU, and every game is played in Oklahoma around here. And because I'm in Oklahoma, and you watch every game, so I watched him play. And in the Big 12, he lit stuff up. You have receivers, and you got one of the best coaches around, and all that good stuff. And then whenever, boom, you play against the Alabamas in the SEC, he looked like an average quarterback. And my thing is that I've never been sold on him. And like my Philadelphia Eagles fans have really, and I'm not gonna disrespect them too much, but they have, after we won the Super Bowl, they had like we won 5, 6, 7 Super Bowls. Everything had to be perfect, and nobody could make a mistake. Now, granted, we had Carson Wentz, and he's been having, we wasn't for sure if he was going to be reliable health-wise, which I understand. But to really think that Jalen Hurts was the answer, no. When you lose your job to Tua at Alabama, Alabama is the closest thing to an NFL franchise in college. And if he couldn't hold on to that job, everybody try to talk about, how he was, a leader and how tough he was. And I don't disagree with him on none of that stuff. But, this new coach, I'm not sure what he's doing. Jalen Hurts is, everybody try to throw stats out there and all that good stuff, but those stats are null and void to me, man. Whenever, most of that stuff happens whenever you're down, and you're trying to come back, and all that good stuff. And that's what's happening. And so everybody want to look at his stats and say, he putting up 300-something yards. Of course you're going to do that when that's all you're doing is airing it out. And then towards the end, the game is over and they sitting in prevent defense. And, and I said this, same thing happened last year. We beat the Saints last year. Carson Wentz had played so bad. Anything that you could have put out there was better than what Carson Wentz was doing. He comes out against the Saints that first game. They had no film. And they didn't know what the offense was going to look like. Boom, he goes out there. He looks great. We get a new coach, new offense, new all that stuff. So he comes out week 1. We didn't know what the Eagles were going to look like. No film on them, none of that stuff. Boom, look good. Once we got some film, what's happened? 3 games in a row. We lose. We 1-3 now. And, for anybody to say, let's just be patient. We're young. No, I see a lot of Eagles fans. That's bullshit to me because we got a lot of veterans on this team. Yeah, some of our receiving core is younger. Our quarterback is young, but it didn't have to be this way. And for them to really, if they think that Jalen Hurts is the answer, then we are in a lot of trouble, a whole lot of trouble. And I'm going to get off the Eagles because I can keep talking about them and they ain't going to do nothing to piss me off, and I don't really want to talk about that. All right, so we're going to stay in football. Are the Cardinals the best team in football? Right now, they are. The Arizona Cardinals, they're tough out. I was saying it was the Rams at one point in time, but what they did to the Rams yesterday, Now, the Rams didn't play particularly well, because to me, personally, the Rams are a team built around offense and defense. And so if the defense, gives the offense, good field position and, do all that, I don't think the defense played well at all yesterday. I just don't think they played well at all. But it could have a lot to do with, Kyler Murray and how he scrambled and, all that good stuff. Like, they just went to LA and gave them a good old fashioned ass whooping yesterday. And right now, they looking like the best team in football, offensively and defensively. I wasn't for sure if JJ Watt was going to be able to help this team out, but lo and behold, he's doing what he's supposed to do. He got out of Houston and he's in a great situation. And I think those guys just enjoy playing for each other. And I think they're the best team in football. And right now, for sure, I know they're the best team in the NFC. And we're just in week 4, but I'm just talking about right now what I've seen so far. I think they're, the best team right now. And like I said, we just in week 4. You don't know what's going to happen. It's still a long season. They still got 13 games because they play 17 games now. But right now they are. It's some teams that's close to them. It's a few teams. Like, the Rams are a good team. But right now, the way they whooped up on the Rams, you don't know. And I'm not real big on if you lose a game where you just fall to the bottom of the barrel and all that good stuff. The Rams had a bad game, in my opinion. They had a bad game. And a lot of people, the Rams just ain't that good. What did I say? What was it? The Eagles brought this guy for that. Oh, the Eagles, they brought in, but I'll tell you that in a second, like Jenny. But I think the Cardinals are the best in football right now, offensively and defense. They're clicking on both sides, and if they stay healthy, it's going to be a tough out. We'll see what happens. Kyler Murray is playing lights out, and we'll see. They take it one game at a time. And Janet, to get on the topic that you was talking about, the Eagles brought LaShawn McCoy back for a one-day contract for him to retire as an Eagle. That's what happened. And so, that's what they did. And you said, what about Cam Newton? I think Cam Newton is done for a while. I don't know if anybody pick him up. All right. And then we're going to talk about something I really don't want to talk about, but we'll talk about it, though. Are the Cowboys for real? Based off what I see, the Cowboys are a really, really, really good team. But I'm not going to just tip my cap to them now. They probably will win our division. I will say that. They probably will win our division. And, April, you said yes, and, Dallas, baby, and all that good stuff. But I'm going to say this to you, April. You are a typical Cowboy fan. I had a Cowboy come to my food truck the other day. He said, what about them Cowboys? Because he knew I was an Eagles fan. And he and his wife was together. She said, well, I'm not a Cowboys fan. I just watch him go through the same thing every year. Because the question I asked him was, y'all going to win the Super Bowl this year? And you know what he said? He said, yeah, we're going to win the Super Bowl. So my thing about Cowboys is, like, hold your horses. Y'all have, you really hadn't played against great competition yet. You played against, the Tampa Bay Bucks, which y'all, end up losing that game. You done won 3 straight. But it's 13 more games. And right now, y'all look good. Dak playing good. Zeke played his best game yesterday. The defense is really, really playing good. You got a lot of talent on that team. So, are they for real? Yes, I think they are, because the offense was potent when Dak went out after week 5. I felt like the offense was one of the best offense. It was just the defense was a question mark to me with the Dallas Cowboys. But we'll see what's going to happen with them, because it's not an easy out. You got some tough games coming up. Like right now, you got a stretch where you could run off another 3 or 4 in a row and because you got a couple of games. I think you got the bye week, and then you come up again. Those games you could easily be 7-2, 8-1, easily. And after that, you got some tough games. But are the Cowboys for real? I have to give credit when credit is due. And I really hate to say this, but the Cowboys are for real to me. And this is just after week 4. They lost game 1 and they won 3 straight. So, and then this is how I feel about your competition. Like I said, they hadn't really played against nobody, but you play who's in front of you. And, they really have. They play who's in front of them. And they've taken care. April, I agree. They playing well. They can't get relaxed and start playing sloppy. I agree with you on that. TC, I mean, I hate to talk about them like this. And I'm gonna be honest with you. And it's not the Cowboys to me. It's their fans. Like, every year they go into the Super Bowl. And then I get tired of hearing how many times they've won the Super Bowl. And the people that I know wasn't even born for 3 of them, 3 or 4 of them, if I'm not mistaken. They won the ones in the 90s. That's all they know about. They don't know about the ones from the 70s because we weren't even born. And that's my problem with them. Like, no, you got 2 Super Bowls. That's what you got. You a Cowboys fan. You got, because you don't know nothing about the rest of them. You didn't see them. You weren't born whenever they happen. You ain't had nothing to do with it. You weren't even a fan then. So that's my issue. And then every year is we going to the Super Bowl. We going to the Super Bowl. We America's team. And this, that, and the third. And that's the thing that bothers me. But, I have to give credit when credit's due. I think the Cowboys are for real this year. It's like I said earlier about the Cardinals, it's week 4. So we'll see what happens. Anything can happen as long as they stay healthy, all that good stuff. They could really be a force to be reckoned with whenever it comes to, moving on. And I think they'll win our division because our division sucks. Like, it's us, the football team, the Giants, and the Cowboys. And like Cowboys, the only one that's really looking good. And, like I said, I have to give credit when credit is due. Shout out to the Cowboys for being 3-1. I hate to say that. And they will probably end up winning our division. All right. So we're going to talk about NFL Week 5 real quick. We got a host of games coming up. The Jets and the Falcons. That will be the toilet bowl to me. Who can win that game? The Packers and the Bengals. I think that would be a real good game. Aaron Rodgers is playing real good. And Joe Burrow is playing real good too. We got the Vikings and the Lions. A lot of people don't realize the Vikings are 1-3. The Vikings could easily be 3-1 or possibly 4-0. They done lost some tough ones, by a few points. But I think they'll win this game against the Lions. We got the Broncos and the Steelers. I think the Broncos will beat the Steelers, and the Steelers will go from 1-3 to 1-4. The Steelers are done, and they need to get rid of dang on Ben Roethlisberger. We got the Bucs and the Dolphins. I think the Bucs would take care of the Dolphins real easily. Got the Saints and the football team. The Saints have been, schizophrenic. One day they win, one day they're outside there, and kind of bipolar. So I think this is the week the Saints will play better and they'll beat the football team. The Eagles and the Panthers. They said the Panthers had the best defense in the NFL, but that's just statistically. I don't think they were the best defense, but I think they'll beat my Eagles because we're on the road, and I just don't think we have a good team. The Jaguars and the Titans. I'm very surprised at the Titans, but I'm calling this right now. I think the Jaguars are going to upset the Titans. We got the Patriots and the Texans. I think the Patriots will beat the Texans. We got the Bears and the Raiders. I think the Raiders will take care of the Bears after they lose tonight. The Browns and the Chargers. I think that'll be a real good game. Unfortunately, I think that the Browns will end up beating the Chargers on the road. We got the Cowboys and the Giants. I was just talking about the Cowboys being 3-1. They could easily beat the Giants, but that's one of those divisional games and you never know what's going to happen. I'm going to say the Cowboys will beat the Giants. 49ers and the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals will continue to roll and they'll beat the 49ers. The Bills and the Chiefs, it'll be a real good game, but I think the Bills are going to beat the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are very overrated, and a lot of people have caught up with them. And I think that it's a lot of people that's giving Patrick Mahomes a whole lot of credit, and I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to leave it alone. And then you got the Ravens and the Colts. I think the Ravens will end up beating the Colts. The Colts won this game this week, and I'm not sure if they're going to win. Coming up in the weeks to come. All right, and so that's my week 5, and so we're going to move on, and we're going to go to some NBA stuff. Should the Nets trade Kyrie? I've wrestled with this right here because a lot of people say they want these guys to get their money and this, that, and the third. And I'm all for these guys making their money and getting their money, but at the end of the day, Kyrie Irving has done a disservice to the next bunch of guys that's going to come up. Like one, he picks and chooses when he want to sit out. And a lot of people try to say, it's for his faith and this, that, and the third, and mental illness and this, that, and the third. Well, Kyrie Irving was one of the ones who was trying to get these guys to not play during, the COVID, and they didn't want to go to the bubble and all that good stuff. And now he still wants to get paid and not get vaccinated. And he knows that he plays in New York where they have a law saying that you have to get vaccinated in order to play. And if he doesn't get vaccinated, he'll sit 41 games. Me personally, I say trade him. That's how I felt for the trade deadline last year. I feel like he's a cancer to any team that he goes to. Yes, I know him and Kevin Durant are real good friends and they get along well and all that good stuff. And for what I'm hearing, that he's possibly going to get vaccinated. Because if you're not, reliable and you're not available to be on the court to play, what's the purpose of having him? That's 41 games that he will miss. And I'm sorry, that's home games that he will miss. Because then he has 2 games that possibly he have to play at the Knicks, and that makes it 43. If they make the playoffs, they get home court advantage. Let's say if you go through a 7-game series, that's 4 games that you miss. You make it to the next round, that's another 4 games that you miss. You make it to the next round, that's another 4 games. So my thing is, if he doesn't want to, and I like what the NBA is doing. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of people saying the NBA trying to force their hand and all that good stuff. No. What people fail to realize is the NBA is a private business. These guys make their money from the NBA. The NBA make their money off of these guys. And if you're not available, then you lose money. So why should I continue to pay you if you don't want to come to work and do what you're supposed to do to be at work? It's that simple. And a lot of people are not going to see it that way. All they see is this, that, and the third. And you can't play in California either. Yeah, it's California the same way, Brian. You're right. You can't play in California. So just imagine if the Lakers and Brooklyn end up playing against each other in the finals. He not vaccinated. He can't play no game. None whatsoever. So my thing is I would ship his ass off somewhere or another else and get me some pieces to go around, because you can win with James Harden and Kevin Durant, and then you put you some more pieces around to go with some depth and all that good stuff. I've been saying the deeper they are, the better off they are. And I felt like if they would have traded Kyrie the last trade deadline, they could have got a whole bunch of different pieces. And me personally, I trade to Philly. Ben Simmons don't want to be there. Sell him to Philly, get Ben Simmons over there. You're going to miss the Warriors game, Sacramento game, Clipper game. You're right, Brian. That's a bunch of games that he's going to miss. So let's count them all. So he missed 41 in the regular season for home. Then you're going to go to the Warriors. That's 42. Sacramento, 43. Lakers, 44. The Clippers, 45. And then the Knicks, 46, 47. So he done missed over half of the season. And they say they're gonna hit these guys in the pocket. If you miss game due to not being vaccinated, that means that you're not gonna get paid. He can miss per game almost $500,000 per game. And I like the fact that the NBA is doing that, because this is how they make their money. And I've been saying this, The Ben Simmons situation and this Kyrie Irving situation is going to make it bad in 2 years whenever that collective bargaining agreement comes up. When that collective bargaining agreement comes, you best believe the owners and Adam Silver are going to be sitting at the door, licking their chops, ready for them, because a lot of people say that guaranteed contracts are not going anywhere. I agree. But it's going to be some stipulations in those guaranteed contracts. Guarantee you that. Those contracts are not going to be as big. These guys are making so much money and all this good stuff, but you don't want to go to work. You're missing television games. That's how you make your money. The issue is not only the owners, but these TV deals. I know these TV deals, whoever these TV deals are, ESPN, ABC, all that good stuff, and these guys not playing in games where they can play. Oh, you know they pissed off about that. So they're gonna have to get it together. But this whole situation with Kyrie, should he trade him? I think the Nets should trade him. And if they don't trade him, I think it's gonna be a bad mistake if they don't, because I think he's going to hinder them from winning a championship. That's simple. Yeah, and I agree with you, John Janet. That's the thing. The kids save their money to see him. There's a lot of kids that go to these games just to see some of these guys. Who wants to see him in suits? No, we want to see you suit up in your uniform and go out there and be the best player that you can be. And it's time for us to stop babying and coddling all these players that are making up excuses for them and tell them how great they are and all this type of stuff. No, go out there and make your money. You go to work every day, you make your money. If I don't work, I don't eat. And right now, what these guys are doing is showing the next generation how to be lazy and lazier and lazier. Okay, well, I'll get this contract, but I don't want to go to work, so I'm just going to sit out today. I'm not going to do anything. We got to stop that. We got to stop it, and then we'll turn around and try to say how great they are. No, one thing I can say, and this is it's a whole nother spiel. You know, I'm not the biggest LeBron James fan, but one thing I can say is that son of a gun don't cheat the game. Russell Westbrook don't cheat the game. And that's what I like about old school guys back in the day. You didn't see no crap like this right here sitting out because, you know, you feel like it or because you don't want to abide by some rules and, you know, all that good stuff. You know, that's why I respect Kobe. That's why I'm a big Michael Jordan fan. They never cheated the game. Never cheated the game. You go back and look at some of the old school guys. Dennis Rodman never cheated the game. Yeah, did he go party? Yeah. But didn't cheat the game. And I feel like Kyrie Irving is cheating the game right now. So should the Nets trade him? Yes. I say trade him. Get you some pieces for him. Center your team around James Harden and Kevin Durant. Hey, and if you can trade him, I guarantee you, Philly will take him. That would be a nice combination with him and Embiid. Embiid setting screens, he coming off of them. And you put Ben Simmons over with, you know, Kevin Durant and James Harden. Ben Simmons don't have to be the guy. He can be that third wheel and be great. So that's something to consider. That's my personal opinion on that. I think Kyrie is a cancer to this Nets team, and I think he's going to hinder Kevin Durant from winning a third, possibly a fourth, and a fifth championship, and keep James Harden from winning his first step. That's just me. That's the way I feel about it, and a lot of people might disagree with me, but that's them. That's because they're not thinking with this right here. They're just thinking, oh, I just think Kyrie's one of the greatest players to ever play and all that good stuff. But, you know, I disagree with you. I think a lot of people living in the past. And my final word today is be good or be good at it. And everybody have a good rest of your week. And I will see you guys on next Monday, same time, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. Hey, if you didn't get to check it out, share it. If somebody didn't get to check it out, share it, please. Or just go back and check out, you know, from start to finish. I appreciate anybody who got on and participated in the conversation. And it's just a pleasure for, just to have a good time and speak on stuff that I like to speak about. So we'll see you next week. And like I said, everybody have a good night. I'm Janet. Everybody have a good rest of your week and talk to you soon.